The late 70s and 80s was off the charts. Toys were flying off the shelves at light speed, and kids everywhere were going nuts for any and everything Star Wars. Luke Skywalker was the hero of George Lucas's new epic space opera, and having an action figure of Luke meant you got to relive part of the magic from the movie. It was a rite of passage, a mandate for children everywhere, if you will. It's like Ben Kenobi himself called out to kids everywhere and said, "You will go to the toy store system. There your mom will buy Kenner." And so they did. Kids immediately looked for the Tatooine Farmboy that captured their imaginations and inspired their playtime. Packaged in a blister card, the first Luke Skywalker release was Farmboy Luke sporting his famous dusty white robe and boots. Kenner manufactured millions of Lukes, and most came on cards, but the earliest option to get Luke Skywalker was in the now super rare early bird set. Back in 1977, kids had the opportunity to mail away for Kenner's first 4 Star Wars mini action figures. The arrival of Luke also meant the introduction of the telescoping lightsaber, a nifty feature that allowed kids to push a tiny plastic sword out of the bottom of Luke's right hand. And if you have the really rare double telescoping lightsaber, you are the envy of many a collector, as those were first made by Kenner, and a version that they quickly discontinued for cost reasons. Kenner made the lightsaber yellow due to some wanky error which still continues to drive fans wild. To be honest though, seeing a blue saber in this Luke's hand would look weird now. Call me crazy. The likeness of this Luke figure is pretty good. He comes in different hair paint variations, but yellow is the most common and widely displayed version. Because Farmboy Luke has a lightsaber, I rank him 5 out of 7. Next on the list is the awesome Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot, who pulls double duty as our main hero and acting as every rebel pilot in the galaxy until the arrival of the B-Wing pilot in 1984. Quite a burden to carry, but that's always been Luke's destiny, hasn't it? Sculpted with the friendly face and carrying a rebel blaster, X-Wing Luke is a must in every collection and playtime. Your X-Wing didn't look the same with Farmboy Luke piloting it. You just had to have X-Wing Luke in it. There's no other way around it. I really think that this is a standout figure. He looks great next to any vehicle or ship. As cool as he is, I still rank him a 6 out of 7. The last Luke figure released for the original film was Luke in Stormtrooper disguise, which came out in 1985 as part of the Power of the Force line. This Luke gets a lot of flack for the sculpt on his face. I can see why, but I still let it slide because of the fact that we have a figure of Luke dressed as a Stormtrooper. How freaking cool is that? I'm a sucker for accessories, and Luke has 2. He rocks the signature E11 Stormtrooper blaster and a removable Stormtrooper helmet. I love this figure. I know I'm not the only kid who used Luke as a regular Stormtrooper when playtime called for more troops. Once again, a figure that looks cool and can fill 2 gaps during playtime? Wow. For this, I rank Stormtrooper Luke a 4 out of 7. The Empire Strikes Back had one of the best openings in cinema. Within minutes, we see Luke in his new Hoth gear and immediately watch him get mauled by the Wampa. Truly awesome. When he was released in 1981, unfortunately, in my opinion, he had a mediocre likeness. And to make things worse, they packaged him with a Rebel blaster rifle. Why on earth did they do that? Luke never fires a blaster once in the entire film. Not even on Bespin when he encounters Boba Fett. Should have come with a blue lightsaber. That's what we always saw him use in the film anyway. So for that mess up and the fact that I'm not overly jazzed about his appearance, I have to rank Hoth Luke a 7 out of 7. A city in the clouds was a magical sight to see in the second half of The Empire Strikes Back. There was so much to like about Cloud City. Beautiful scenery, Boba Fett, and the most iconic lightsaber fight in history. It was only fitting that Kenner do fans a solid and create Luke and Bespin fatigues. One of the best action figure representations and coolest of the Lukes by many metrics. The detailing on his outfit is awesome. He even has a lightsaber hilt painted onto his belt. The figure gets points because he's the first Luke released in the line to come with 2 accessories. The first of which being the Rebel Blaster, or Smuggler Blaster as it's also known as. Luke also gets points for packing a removable lightsaber. Gone is the telescoping lightsaber, and in its place is a lightsaber that can actually fit in Luke's hand. Again, Kenner made it yellow, which only further drove collectors mad with rage, but what can you do? Anger leads to the path of the dark side, someone once said. Besides, Luke is already dressed for Jedi training. For all of these reasons, I have to give Bespin Luke a 3 out of 7. If you don't love Luke in Jedi Knight outfit, I don't know what to tell you. This is the official Return of the Jedi figure released in 1983. I have to say, Kenner crushed it with the creation of this Luke, rocking his signature cloak from Jabba's palace and once again sporting 2 accessories. Kenner was spoiling us. The removable cloak is made of soft cloth and feels amazing and really adds something special to Luke's figure. Plus, it gives Luke 2 looks, depending on the scene you're playing through. And this time, we finally got a green lightsaber. Finally! Same style and mold as its yellow predecessor and just as flimsy in Luke's hand. What is it with the lightsaber and Kenner toys? Is there a curse or something? I mean, I guess I can live with it though because these figures are so dang cool. Kenner also released a version of this Luke with a snap cape and packaged him with a blue lightsaber. The blue is the more rare of the 2 versions and one I still have yet to acquire for my own collection. The hunt continues. Kenner also packaged this Luke with the palace blaster that he shoots at Jabba. I'm not ashamed to say this, but this is my favorite Luke of the line. He is my number 1 choice out of the 7. Closing out the lineup is the 1985 release Power of the Force Luke in Battle Poncho, the second figure from the Return of the Jedi Luke film featuring Luke and the second Luke figure to come with cloth clothing. Guys, cloth robes and cloaks from the ROTJ lineup are absolute musts in my book. Such a wonderful upgrade for the line. The poncho Luke wears is from his time on Endor when he meets the Ewoks. It's a beautiful piece. Luke also comes with a removable belt that has a holster. He is in fact sporting the helmet we see in the film, yet unlike his sister's figure, his helmet is not removable. Kenner really dropped the ball on this in my opinion. However, if you really need that Luke, you can always pop the poncho and belt off this figure and stick it on the Jedi Luke figure. There are options. This Luke figure comes with the same palace blaster as the Jedi Luke figure, only this time it's black instead of tan, gray, brown. Why Kenner saw fit to pack him with this blaster and not his green lightsaber, I'll never know. It just doesn't make sense to me. However, I don't let this present a problem for me, as I simply give Endor Luke a green saber to hold and the desired display aesthetic is still achieved. Because of his awesome likeness, his cloth poncho, the whole 9 yards, I have to rank him 2 out of the 7.